are.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Style by Design with our very, very special guest, Tracy Keeping, who is our fashion expert and our personal style architect. And for those of you who may have missed yesterday, we're going to give her a minute to introduce herself one more time and tell us what you do, why you do it, and who it all is for.
Who it's all for. Well, I am Tracy Lynne, or Tracy, and a single mom who has over the years discovered that she loves style and that there is not a lot of choices for older women. They seem to want us to dress like we used to in the 80s, all buttoned up and whatnot. Latest styles in Target being, our latest examples of that. And yeah, I just want women to take up space in how they dress and use that to build their confidence up and, take up space and do all the things. And I do it through using human design, which is a little different because most people will use colors like seasons, or they will use like your body shape and all that sort of stuff. And yes, we can talk about that, but I like to take a little bit of a different spin on it.
And can you recap just briefly what human design, how it contributes to things for people who might not be familiar with it?
Well, for me, it was a learning curve in the way that the way I got to see myself. It gave me permission for some of the things that I thought were quote unquote wrong with me.
Right.
Like, it helped me see that there are ways I am meant to operate in this world, and having the human design piece helped me with that. And then drilling down even further was the style and why I maybe didn't like certain pieces of the style, or why I preferred to experiment with certain things. And it came down that is at my core who I am. And that was why I felt that my take on helping women find their confidence, own their confidence, and find an authentic, unique style for themselves, human design just seemed to lend itself to that for me.
Right. And so when women are getting ready, and so they're trying to reclaim their personal style, do they have to go out and buy an entirely new wardrobe to do it?
No, well, I mean, if they want to.
If they want
sure.
to, yes.
I mean, let's be real. If they want to go out, go for it. But no, my goal is to at least get them started on the path with what they've got, if we can, right? I mean, if obviously, in the case of myself, when I was looking in my closet, whatever it was now, let's say 8-9 years ago, and realizing that it was primarily casual and I didn't always like casual, yes, I had to kind of start somewhat from scratch.
Right.
But it was a process over time. So there are pieces in your wardrobe that I'm sure you love. There are pieces that maybe you don't want to wear, or you don't think you can wear for whatever reason, whether it's an event or, just every day. I can't go out like that. It's just getting you to rethink that you've got these things in your wardrobe for a reason. How can we make it work with the lifestyle that you've got now? And then build on that, and whether that's accessories or shoes or,
Right. And so yesterday we talked about the 1%. Like, it doesn't have to be, it's not an all or nothing proposition. When you're doing mindset work, doing any type of personal development, you're not going to go from 0 to 60 usually in a day.
No. I mean, it is a process, really. I mean, because, let's be honest, we've gone however old we are years, either dressing one way that we think we should dress, or in a way that we thought was us, and all of the stories that comes along with that. So it's not just going into the closet and saying the heck with it, right? Like, it's starting from that perspective of, what do I have in the closet that I like? What do I have in the closet that I love? And what could I part with? What are the things, like, is it a question of having a smaller size because you think you're going to lose that weight and there's some sort of sentimentality attached to that piece? But the reality is, are you actually going, like, how long have you had that piece? Are you going to lose the weight?
Right.
Are you willing to let go of the attachment to it to make space for something new? right? To explore the idea of what a new style might be that, what do they say? Sometimes we fill up and you need that negative space in your house for,
Right.
the clutter or whatever. The closet is kind of the same thing, right? So, we were also talking about who's in your closet, right?
Right.
So really, really starting to look at who's in the closet and which one am I? Am I a little bit of both? But again, those pieces, like if you've got pieces that you're always grabbing, why are you always grabbing them?
Right.
Right. And if you're always grabbing them, is it because it's comfortable, it's easy, you don't have to think about it? Or is it because you really, truly love those pieces? Well, then let's build on that.
Right.
Right. And really thinking about the why behind what we're wearing, the why behind we're picking what we want.
Right. The driving force is always the key to everything. Because, sometimes even we hang on to things that maybe we've had since we were 20 or 30 because of the way it made us feel when we wore it back then. But your style, your taste may have changed. Mine have in a lot of ways, but you're still holding on to that feeling. So you keep the thing, but you're also not finding anything to fill that void with.
Yeah. Well, and then taking that kind of even one step further is what was the feeling? Right. That and could you go out and find something similar, right? Like maybe that particular piece is not 100% you anymore, but there's something about it that still calls you.
Right.
And is there a way to, whether it's online or, when you're out shopping, is there something about that piece that you could find in something else?
Right. Well, yeah. What catches your attention? Like what catches you online, or if you're walking through a store, if you stop and touch something, it's like, something attracted you to even just want to touch the fabric, even if you don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, and a trick that I do sometimes when I'm shopping online, because let's be honest, like those online stores can be huge, there's so many choices, right? And then you kind of get into that analysis paralysis of what do I want? What don't I want? I found sometimes if I sort of soften my gaze a little bit, so it sort of gets a little bit blurry, like you can't 100% see what's there, but just enough that, oh, that caught my eye. So then you start looking at it and it's like, okay, what about it caught my eye?
Right.
Maybe not. Okay, keep moving. Or, just throw it in the cart.
Yes.
Right. And then when you feel like you're done and complete, you go and look at the cart, then you narrow the cart down, right?
Yes, that's a great idea.
You look at things a little bit more scientifically, whatever
Well,
you want to
you
call
can
it,
also
right?
compare them once they're in your cart. You can look at like 3 blouses next to each other and say, yes, this one, yeah, I thought I liked this one, but I like this one better.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to that, there's so many things to choose from, right? What and trying to get that feeling from, let's say, that piece of clothing that was 15, 20 years ago, whatever. Why did you like it? Not just the feeling, but the why. I mean, because for me, I don't really like celebrities all that much, but they do go out and they wear such different things, right? So like, if we're going to take the human design piece of it, we've got this environment arrow and they point left or they point right. If it points left, you're kind of meant to dress in more of a standard, let's call it uniform, right? Like let's think t-shirt, jeans, and a pair of shoes of some kind, boots, runners, whatever. Okay. But could you experiment with the type of t-shirt? Could you experiment with the shoes, right? So but you're kind of known. And I think of like Jennifer Aniston.
Right.
She's always very clean lines, but a simple sort of thing. What about that inspires you? Right. And so then you can start thinking about, okay, well, you know what? She really she wears these coats that I really like, or she wears this style of cargo pant that I really like. Okay. Is that me? And where could we start with the whole, I'm going to go and I'm going to start looking at cargo pants. I'm going to start trying them on. I'm going to see, do I really like them? Do I not like them? That sort of thing.
Right.
If you're a right arrow, you're meant to, as a coach that you and I both love, say experiment, right? We're meant to experiment with our style. Maybe we're going to pick a trend here and a piece of a trend here. Well, that comes to mind, I think, kind of like Sex and the City or Lady Gaga, right? So Carrie, you never knew what that woman was going, that character was going to wear from season to season, right? It was very, very different. It was out there. So what about that did you like?
Right.
Right. Lady Gaga, she's always kind of out there. She's gone from really, really crazy down to something that's a little bit more demure sometimes, right? But she, even within that, she's got little pieces that are different.
Right.
What about that
Yeah.
inspires you, right? And
Right.
that's where you can sort of start playing with what you've got in your wardrobe. And this is where I say, removing those pieces that you that are your go-tos, because your brain just automatically goes to them, right? That 5-second rule doesn't really work in that sense, because you've got them, that's what you're going to grab.
Right.
Take those out,
Take them
and now
out.
you can start looking at your wardrobe a little more
Well, then
holistically.
and you actually have to look at what's in your closet if you take out your two things. Because these are my two. I brought mine with me. These are my two favorite shirts because they're the most comfortable shirts that I own, and I can do anything with them. But that's you know, it is like, so I actually physically moved them to the very corner of the closet. So I was like, okay, that's not an option for the next couple of days. Let's see what happens. And then I actually have to look at what's in my closet.
Yeah. And then that's when you start seeing what's in there, what's me.
Yeah.
What do I need? What, like, what's not inspiring me? What's not lighting me up? What's, you know, how can I change up whatever I'm wearing, right? So even when you can put those two shirts back in, are you going to? And if you're going to, now you've seen what else is in your wardrobe, how can you mix and match stuff, right?
Right.
So it's really just about owning, if you don't want to go out and do a whole new wardrobe,
right,
it's just about looking at those pieces differently. And don't get me wrong, when you start this process, you're probably going to feel weird.
Yeah.
You're probably going to feel a little less confident walking out the door, because it's something you're not used to.
And you're going to be more visible probably, which is a whole
Most
thing
likely
in itself. Yeah.
Well, and look at the red lipstick. This is my 1%. I put on the lipstick that I don't normally wear. And yes, I do feel a little different, weird.
You do, yeah, because you know people are going to look at you, and so many women have visibility issues. Like we are taught to not draw attention to ourselves, not good attention, not bad attention, just no attention.
Yeah. Well, and window shop. I think that's kind of, I think there's things that we don't do anymore. And I don't know about you guys, but when I go out, I tend to go out with an agenda in mind.
Yes.
I'm going to go shopping for me. I'm going to go shopping for the kid. I'm going to go on, you know, like I don't go out unless I'm going to do something.
Right.
But I remember growing up and we would just go window shop.
Yeah.
We never went with anything in mind. And, you know, I think now, like, that's when you can start looking at the mannequins and how things are, like sometimes I'll go and I'll be like, I would never put that together.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that. And maybe it's not for me, but then it starts making my brain turn in the, well, I like that, but I'd put it together with that thing that's over there on the rack, you know, and just kind of start to play around with it in your mind. Of what you like, what you don't like, and how you can start. Because some people are going to say, well, you know what, if you've got really big hips, you probably shouldn't wear anything that's flared, or you should, you know, you should wear a straighter skirt because then it narrows down your hips. And while I think some of those rules are good, I don't think it's something that you should be like, well, I can't.
Right.
Because if you like it,
again,
you like it.
Right, because it goes back to,
you know, it could be somebody's perception too. I mean, you could try it on it. I mean, you may find when you put it on, hey, I like the way this looks. And there are some women that you know are excited about. I mean, they flaunt their big hips. You know?
Well, exactly, right. So that's why it kind of comes back to what we were saying yesterday about the rules. Who made these rules? And why are we following?
Usually somebody who wanted a pencil stick person who was, I mean, that's the whole weight thing.
Well, a Twiggy, right? Everybody wanted a Twiggy back in the day. So, but the reality is we have hips, and some people might want to hide them. And that's where that rule would come in and make sense. But then there's others, like you say, that, you know what? I got junk in my trunk and I'm going to show it off. So the rule doesn't apply.
With people that have, you know, a fuller back end going out the back way, either because of weightlifting or just because that's their body build.
Right.
And, you know, and some people will criticize, you know, pass judgment, but then I know some women that, hey, that's in their mind, that's the best part of them. And honey, they're going to wear those spandex. They're going to wear that and make sure everybody sees it because they're okay with it.
Yeah. So it's really about coming back into ourselves and what do we feel comfortable with. So the shirt that I picked today that I was kind of like, I bought it and I think it's really cool, but it's kind of fishnetty, and I'm like, it's probably not the most appropriate for work. It's kind of low cut, it's got no back, but it's just like, I still kind of like it. So I'm going to hang on to it for a bit, and I'm going to find moments like this where maybe I can pull it out
Absolutely.
and wear it. Will I be a little uncomfortable? So maybe not as confident feeling, sure, but it's still something I like, and that's, I think, what we've lost along the way, because it's just, as you say, someone's got junk in their trunk and they want to show it off, so they're going to put on the leggings, whether it's the right
I
thing to
mean,
do or
what's the
not.
difference in that and somebody who's fully bosomed or whatever, who wants to show off the top, even if they wear a button up but I mean, to me, it's the same difference. If you want to, if hips are what you think are your quality point, then go for it.
Yeah. Well, and colors. I mean, colors might be the only aspect that I would maybe need to do a little bit more
I
research
wouldn't
on,
put a
because
pair of leggings on that had like big bold flower,
yeah, well, and there's also that whole, like spring, summer, fall, winter, whatever, that does sort of make your complexion look a little bit better. But at the end of the day, for me, even if it washes me out, if I like the color, I'm going to wear it. And
Right.
then I might wear my hair differently, or I might put on different makeup to
Right.
help with the, so
Yeah, to
I still
counterbalance
feel
it.
like there's a way around it all, that if
Right.
we like it, we should wear it.
Right.
Now, do we always know what we're going to wear? No. And that's where maybe the window shopping is going to come in, or where the scrolling on the internet, finding different websites that have different styles are going to start coming into play with it, or Pinterest. As we said yesterday, making a vision board and
Right.
seeing what really, really kind of gets to us and starts lighting us up. And I mean, yes, environment outside is going to also probably play a role, because it's fall, it's starting to get cold. This is probably nothing I'm going to be able to wear unless I'm inside.
Right.
I'm going to have a coat on. People aren't going to necessarily notice it. So, that stuff does have to play a bit of a role in things. But, I enjoy Pinterest. And I mean, I don't know about you, but lately my feed on Facebook is nothing but different online stores.
Yeah.
So I've been clicking on the links, and I've been scrolling through and going, oh God, that is so not my style. No, we're going to hide that
Yeah.
ad. I don't want that one again. And then there's others that are really cool, and I'm sort of screenshotting them so that I can go back to them down the road and really dive into the website. So, I mean, we've got so many options now that I feel like we don't necessarily need to be tied to one trend or the other.
Right.
The only trend that really bugs me, and my kid absolutely loves it, is ripped jeans. I'm like, why would I pay for ripped jeans
Oh
when
my
I could just
goodness.
buy
I
you a
know.
new pair and then
That's
rip them
one thing
myself?
I cannot wear. And I have a friend of mine that wears them all the time, and she loves them. And so it's great for her. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just feel like there's so much information overload. And that's why I know that some people tell me they can't stand shopping.
Yeah.
They don't want to shop, is because there's just so much. But I think at the end of the day, there's a certain level that's going to be trial and error. And
Yeah.
that's where I think like companies like Shein come in, because maybe it's not the best quality, they're a little bit cheaper, but they give you a really good sense of what you like and what you don't like, right? I mean,
Right.
I love a pencil skirt. They're absolutely gorgeous when they're styled properly, but not me anymore.
Yeah.
That's all I used to wear. Now, forget it. You couldn't get me in a skirt to save my life,
Yeah.
to save your life. I like pants. And that is just something that I have come to recognize. It's, oh, David's coming. Got her. It's just something that is easier for me, right?
Right.
Because I'm running around with a little kid. I'm at bike parks. I'm on sports fields. So what can I do to style my pants? And so I've got different styles of pants. I've got hip huggers that we were talking about yesterday that,
Yeah.
weren't really your thing. I've got skinny jeans. I've got some really cool new loose baggy pants that I bought from a new place that the quality seems to be really, really good. So I'm experimenting within my lifestyle.
Oh, your face is frozen. Come back.
Oh, there we go. You're back now. Am I back?
Yes. Well, no, you're still frozen on my end. I don't know what's.
Oh, and now you just froze.
Oh.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna
Well, we'll
turn
just keep
off.
talking. Yeah, it'll come back
Yeah,
eventually.
keep talking. There we go. There we go. Okay. But that's where, so then it becomes a question of, some of the questions that I might ask you are, what is your lifestyle?
Right.
Right. So like when you want to, whether completely overhaul or working within your closet, it's not just about who's in your closet, but what is your lifestyle? So for Susan or Laurel, because now you're showing up as Laurel today, you were Susan yesterday. You're a teacher.
Right.
And you were talking about how you go to the classroom kind of looking nice in the morning, but maybe by the afternoon, the kids are, like the lipstick's not on, so you haven't put it on, that sort of thing. So your lifestyle is maybe a little busier. So then what fits into that lifestyle? Probably not skirts. If you're
Right.
running around in nature with the boys or whatever, you're going to want to be in pants. But where could we dress that up a little bit if that was what you were going for?
Right. It's almost like we mentioned it briefly yesterday, talking about like the taking a little twist on the Marie Kondo thing is like, picking up things in your closet. And how does it feel even when you pick it up or look at it? There are some clothes like I have in my closet that I just look at them and they're very comfortable, but it's more of a meh, it's like, it's just it's neither here nor there. It's a go-to thing. It's a comfort thing, but it doesn't make me feel fabulous. And I know that,
Right.
but then it's easier. So I keep defaulting to it. And a lot of it is because, especially when we spend so much time either working from home or at home, we forget that we can still dress up for ourselves because it still affects the energy we're putting out.
Yeah. Just like those boots that you were talking about, Susan, right? Like you've got those blue suede boots or whatever that you keep around, but you don't really wear them. So then it becomes a question of, are they meh? Or are they, oh yeah, I love those boots. Okay, well then we need to find ways to incorporate them into going out on the weekends, or, maybe you can't wear them to school, but you could, even if you're just going to the grocery store.
Thought about it. I said, even going outside, I could wear them with a pair of jeans and then just take my tennis shoes so that when I go out with the guys, just change shoes.
Yeah. And it's just about you, like you say, using what you've got. And if you really like them, then, they probably need to find some rotation in the wardrobe so that, they're not just sitting there collecting dust, especially if they light you up, right?
Absolutely. And you hear women talking about this, especially on TikTok right now. And it's like, we're having to remind people that we get to dress for ourselves, that we're not dressing for anyone else's gaze, whether be whoever it is that you're attracted to. Is like, you get to dress for yourself, because that, I'm kind of a big into the law of attraction kind of thing, because what you put out is what you're going to attract back in the way of experiences, opportunities, just because you're more open to it. And if you're feeling fabulous, everywhere you look, you're going to see fabulous just about. Whereas if you walk out the door feeling kind of meh, well, chances are that's what I'm going to find. My experiences are kind of meh.
Let's try this again. So, and I kind of feel like you're more inclined to find things that you want or that light you up when you're shopping for clothes.
Right.
If you're wearing clothes that you already like.
You like. Exactly.
Right. If you're wearing clothes, like, so I can see how when we start this process, when we start in this container, it might be difficult to find things. You might not always know what you like, but if we can work in your closet to find the things that you do like and that do light you up, then when you're shopping online or when you're going to a store, you're going to find it probably a little bit easier to find other things because your mindset's already there. Your head's already in the, well, I look fabulous now, I want more fabulous.
Right.
These are the infamous boots.
Oh, I like those. Oh, you must find other reasons to wear them.
Even if like when you're just around the house. I mean, yesterday I had on a perfectly nice shirt, but it was just a shirt. It was just something that because it was easy to put on. And but today I've got on my print shirt, and it's like, it completely changes the way I feel. I'm already thinking when this call's over, I'm going shopping just because I'm already dressed for it.
Yeah.
Even if I don't buy anything, it's not about whether I'm buying, but I will see things differently based on how I'm showing up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And I have noticed that on those days when I know I need to go out, if I've just thrown on a t-shirt and a pair of jeans because it's kind of like, oh, I got to go run this errand, I don't really want to run it, I might start wandering, but nothing looks good.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go get the kid something instead, and then I can find stuff for him. But
It's almost like when
nothing.
you go out to eat and you're starving. Like if you're starving and you will end up, because you didn't really think about it, you end up eating crap a lot of the time. Okay, maybe I'm talking about myself. You end up picking.
No, I'm with you on it.
But if I've been eating pretty well all day, when I go out to make a choice of what to get to eat, I'm going to make a really good choice. I'm going to get something I really want, that really tastes good, that really makes me happy to eat. It's like that just gets into everything.
Yeah. Well, and it's almost like too, like if you're thinking about the closet that you were talking about yesterday, that you have everything color coded, right? My stuff is all over the place. I haven't really given much thought to my wardrobe. Like what's in there I like, and I usually wear most of it, but it's kind of all over the place. Maybe now is the time to consider organizing it, right? Because then you can see, I've taken out the things that I told myself I had to take out. You've taken out your 2 shirts. I've gotten rid of my leggings because it's not really legging season anymore. So, let's start getting into pants. Playing around with what's in your closet, right? Touching everything. And I think that's a Marie Kondo thing, right? Like you've got to kind of touch everything and, like, do you like what it feels like? Is it lighting you up? Do the same thing with your closet, rearrange things, right? Like what would go with what, right? And get the brain, that 5-second
really
rule.
Great idea. How the grocery stores always do that. They rearrange things periodically so you can't find anything because they're hoping you'll find something new.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something else people could do with their closets. Like it doesn't matter what orders it, but completely rearrange your closet so that you don't know automatically where everything is. So you have to stop and look at it.
I don't color coord my stuff. Maybe I should go upstairs and color coordinate it. You know what I mean? And then you see what's there. And then you can really start to see, what do I like? What do I love? What don't I like? And if you're turning around and saying, don't like it, my question for you is going to be, why is it in your closet?
Why is it still in there? Yeah.
Let's get rid of it.
Yeah,
right.
If you have a fabric and you don't like the way that fabric, I'm very texture sensitive. If I don't like the way a fabric feels, I've had shirts that I thought were the most beautiful shirts I have ever seen, and I bought them and I never once put them on. It took me like years to get rid of them because I just thought they were so pretty, but I wouldn't wear them.
Yeah. So it's really, and so many women are probably going to start from a point of, but I don't know what I like.
Yeah.
And I would question that to a degree. I mean, maybe you don't know exactly what style you like, and that needs to be determined. And maybe it's not a specific style. Maybe it's just bits and pieces of everything, but start in your closet. And that's why I say maybe rearrange things or pull them out and actually really look at them. And as you're putting them back in, go, yeah, I really do like this. And no, I don't like that. Because then it's a way to really start trying to get in touch with, am I wearing this because I think I should wear it? Am I wearing it because I love it? Am I wearing it because someone at some point told me I look good in it, but I don't know if I like it?
Or,
like there's all these things that.
Yes. And also use that in reverse why you're not wearing something you do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes all it takes is one person saying, why are you wearing that? You're not wearing that out, are you? The mother voice again.
Yeah.
And then you may and you'll never put it on again.
Well, and we talked about that yesterday. Susan did say that, mother or grandma said something and then you never wore it again, or you would get into arguments about it. Right. So I think we need to start here, but we also need to start in our closets. What is in that closet? Who is in that closet? Is it me? Is it somebody I wish I was? Is it my mother? Is it my husband who, has dictated some of what I wear? Because you were mentioning,
it's not always your mother, your grandma. I know in my case, these people are not in my life now, but I had friends that discounted what I wore.
Yeah.
Friends, boyfriends, husbands. Yeah. It comes in all forms. Yeah.
And so then it's looking at it and going, okay, they said something about it. Is it true?
That's a great question. Is it true?
Like, because we always want to please, or
and we want to be accepted. We want to
we want to fit in.
Yeah. We just like,
we want to fit in.
Yeah.
So then it's starting with that, and like, okay, they kind of made some sort of comment, whatever that comment was that comment true for me? Maybe it was true for them, but was it true for me?
That's right. The key right there.
No, it wasn't. I think I want to wear it. Put it back in the closet, give it a try, see how you feel in it. Maybe you do feel wonky in it.
Maybe.
And get rid of it. you know,
You
and
know,
I think
there's
it's
some
really just
people-
about,
I have a friend, or I had a friend that would not wear the same thing. Like if she was circulating in the same group or whatever, she wouldn't wear the
Oh.
same thing twice. I mean, it was like she had this mind. I mean, it was crazy. It was like, well, I can't wear this because I work to such and such a function. I'm like,
Well, I wish I had that problem.
right?
Like the wardrobe for it.
So then you would be looking at that going, okay, well, where did that come from?
Yeah,
You know? And was it because a friend said something about how you couldn't wear it? Or was it a mother thing that said, well, you shouldn't do that because then you look like you're, poor or whatever, right? And these are the stories that we need to sort of break down. So it's kind of a combination of, or in tandem of, the mindset piece. Where are these stories coming from? Are they mine?
right.
And what's in my closet? Do I love it? Do I not? Is it comfortable? Is it easy? Is it whatever? Not being a wallflower, as you said yesterday, right? Like
Right.
not standing out. And then going from there and saying, okay, well, I'm not sure about it. I have a tendency to go into my closet every season-ish. What didn't I wear that season? And I might wear it once and then see how I feel in it. And if I feel kind of, okay, well then there was a reason I didn't wear it, get rid of it.
Right.
Or can I try accessorizing it differently? And do I feel differently about it then? Because I don't know about y'all, but when I wear something, I tend to wear it the same way.
Yeah, you would
So
get
I
into
might go,
habits.
I might go through my whole closet because I love everything in my closet, but I tend to not mix and match what's in there. I find an outfit that I like and I tend to wear that outfit
Yeah,
only that way.
right.
So then it becomes about removing that and doing that 5-second rule. What else could I wear with this? How else could I change it up?
Right.
Right.
Well,
And that's why
I went for years and wouldn't wear patterns because solids were easier to mix and match. I didn't have to think about it. And, that's great, except it gets really boring after a while. When you have 3 or 4 colors only and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, you get into a really big rut. And then eventually it's like anything else, whatever habits you're practicing, it gets bigger. And so the next thing, years have passed and you've never worn anything.
And that's where I would kind of challenge any woman right now who wants to consider changing their style to look at what they already have.
Yeah.
Because we probably do get in, well, not probably, we get in a rut.
Yeah.
And because style is meant to be consumed, fast fashion, as they call it these days, we probably have a lot more in our closets to play with and kind of figure out what direction we want to go in for this next season of our life, right? So maybe you have primarily been wearing jeans and t-shirts. Okay, well, that's cool. Could you put on a watch? Could you wear a necklace? Could you, throw on a bracelet? Could you, if they're plain t-shirts, could you go out and get a couple of pattern t-shirts? Could you, there's ways around it. Or maybe you always wear a white t-shirt and black jeans. Well, could you wear a red with the black instead?
Right.
What's in your closet that you could already kind of start mixing and matching,
right,
that you like, and get yourself out of that rut.
Right. And sometimes
because then the next
hard. Yeah, it is really hard, which again, that's why part of why you're doing what you do, because sometimes it helps, even if it's virtually, to have someone going through your closet with you and saying, why don't you try that?
Yeah.
Because you might not even let yourself think about wearing that. Or you think, I can't put that together. But if you've got a friend sitting there, someone working with you saying, try this, try that, it gives you permission to step out of your comfort zone.
Well, and not only that, but it starts shifting the brain. So then when you do go shopping, you're looking at what's on the rack a little differently too, right? Because now you've started shifting. Okay, normally you wear black and white jeans, but now you've decided to throw on a blue or a green or something. When you go to the store now, you might be more inclined to look at different colors, at different patterns, maybe at different fabrics, because your mind is already in that sort of sense of different. Right. Of experimenting.
Yes.
So, or what we were talking about yesterday with patterns and stripes. if your go-to is jeans and t-shirts, but it's, maybe you're looking at a stripe now instead,
Right.
whether that's a horizontal or vertical, whatever, now maybe you want to consider something else. So it's just about opening ourselves up to what do we want,
That's the key right there.
and that's where it gets hard, but playing in our own closet doesn't cost us anything.
Doesn't. And another thing a fun thing that you're doing, and you're probably going to do some VIP days later on,
Yes.
is going to the thrift stores, which is
Yeah.
always a boat ton of fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because then you can find stuff that, normally maybe you wouldn't consider because it's a designer, and
Right.
like, who's got money for designers these days, but you might come across something while you're thrifting.
Right.
So, and then it gives you just something different, because I find that the designer stuff can always have a little bit of an edge to it that some of the other stuff doesn't have, because
Right.
they're catering to the masses, right?
Right.
Which isn't to say that that's a horrible thing, but
Right. Yeah.
like the kiddo has noticed now that he'll go to school and maybe 3 or 4 of his friends or in other grades have the same shirt that he's got on,
Yeah.
because kids grow out of stuff fast. So we go and we do the fast fashion for them
Yeah.
at Walmart when the t-shirts are on sale for $2.
Right.
And thrifting is one way that you then can make things your own.
Right. And the fact is, we in our brain, we have this thing that it's like secondhand clothes, which it is.
Yeah.
But we don't feel that way if we go buy a used car. It's just,
No.
there's nothing wrong with it. Someone just doesn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
And it opens up a whole world of different things you can look at that you normally would never maybe have even seen, because you don't shop at those stores.
Well, and that's one way too. If you're looking to do a complete overhaul,
Right. And
do
you can
it
very inexpensively. Yeah.
Yeah, in theory, you could, for sure. And, that's what I would probably recommend if someone was to come to me and say, you know what, I hate everything.
Yeah.
I just want to start from scratch. Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's go thrift.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go and buy some new things, because that feels really good to
It
go and
does.
treat yourself.
Mhm.
But I would always encourage first to be like, are you sure you hate everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, granted, not all thrift stores are created equal, and sometimes you do have to drive to a different part of town to get the nicer donated clothes for whatever reason. It is what it
Yeah,
is.
the city.
Yeah, but you just do whatever you have to do, because it's still you're still gonna save money. Because if you go to the Salvation Army here has really nice stuff, but the one in the city I live in is not the same as, say, the one where Susan lives. Because it's 2 different demographics of people that live there.
Yeah.
But you're still going to be saving money, because it's not going to even whatever 2 gallons of gas or whatever it's going to cost you.
And that's where you can experiment a little bit more. So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's go back to the jeans and t-shirt thing, right? So let's say your standard, like the standard jean that you've got that you feel comfortable in is maybe a straight leg. Nothing wrong with a straight leg.
Right.
But when you go out and you're looking at this sort of stuff, maybe then you could start looking at a boot cut or a flare or a skinny.
Right.
Or, a high waist versus a low waist, whatever they
Right.
call low waist, right? Like, this is where you could start experimenting a little bit more, because instead of going and spending $60 on a pair of jeans and hoping you like them, versus maybe $10
Yeah. Yeah.
or 5,
Yeah.
and that's where you can still keep to your uniform, but start playing around with it.
Right.
Start playing with a different cut of pant or jeans. Start playing with a different type of top, within the t-shirt realm, if that's your thing. Maybe we add a blazer to it. Maybe we add a cardigan.
Right.
But then it's still sort of your core uniform that you're comfortable in, if, you have that left arrow, so that we're fitting within your comfort zone, but we're sort of stretching it a little bit.
Right.
Instead of maybe it's just a little shrug, right? Like one of those little 3/4 bolero style cardigans or something, right? And that's where we can start playing around and making it making it your unique piece of whatever in this world that you have, right? Like that's where we would start playing with things and, creating that style for you.
Right. And like we were talking about yesterday, you can actually start with your foundations. Go
Yes.
buy a pair of panties that you normally would have never bought, or a bra. Bras are the bomb if you get the right bra, because they can
Yes,
change
they
how
are.
you feel.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
some things, like, you know, whether they want a low cut plunging bra or a push-up bra or a see-through bra or whatever it is, there's some things especially in lingerie, sometimes we don't let ourselves buy things because we don't have the
No.
body for it, or we're
Yes.
too old for it. We always fall into these things that where we've been categorized again, and therefore it's off limits to us.
Mhm.
I think that's a, you know, it's an now you don't want to get that secondhand, obviously, but you just,
No.
now you would,
I could, but I don't know if I'd
really,
recommend it.
you know, you find a really nice store and just go in and look at their panties and see if you can
Yeah.
find a pair, because sometimes you can
Yeah,
get really good
I
sales.
don't think they're legally probably.
No, I don't. Well, actually, I don't know these days. I don't trust anybody, so I don't want mine to wear it in packaging.
No, but that's the thing, right? Is as women, as moms, as wives, as whatever, you know, I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard women say that they haven't gone and bought themselves a new bra because the kids needed something.
For years.
But it's our foundation. Like
Yeah.
that's where we need to feel comfortable. And not only that, but this is where the confidence piece is going to come in. The foundation piece is then also going to hang the clothes differently too, right?
Yes, big difference.
I was chatting with Dawn the other day, and I said one day I threw on this sweater because it was cold, but I had a sports bra on. And as I was getting ready for bed, I looked at myself and I was kind of like, that doesn't look right. I don't know if I like that. So I wore the exact same outfit, but I threw on a different bra instead. And it was like, that's better.
Changes everything. And again,
It changed everything.
if you start with your foundations, what you put on top of it, is going to look different. And you also might choose something different. If you were a homegirl and thinking your girls look fabulous, you're going to put on a different top probably than if you're wearing your janky sports bra that's been washed one time too many.
Yeah. And that's not always something I can help with. It is something that I would probably suggest as your coach that, you know, we probably need to go and get you some better foundational pieces. Yeah. That would be on you to go and do.
Sports bras are designed so that when you work out, you're not beating yourself up. I mean, they're designed to control.
Yeah, they're not designed to showcase the girls in any way. But again, they're comfortable, right?
Right.
So that's what some women tend to default to. And that's where I would probably try and push you a little bit and say, okay, look, I get it. Bras are not always that comfortable.
Right.
But they do have bras now that don't have any underwear. So, you know, you might be able to get that support and comfort from a regular bra as opposed to a sports bra, because you could go and get one that has no underwear in it.
Right.
And that is going to lift and give you a different silhouette that you might actually be able to look at yourself and go, oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, because one that you're especially like your breasts is one thing. As you get older, everybody starts like, that's where all the memes start coming in about
right.
It's like, again, who even made that up where that became a thing where women are so self-conscious about a body part that they all have. Every woman has whatever they
I've seen it. I can't remember the name of the company, but there is a lady that has come out with bras for older women for that very reason. I can't remember what, I want to say it's Daisy or something, but I've seen it show up in my feed a couple times where, I mean,
no, what does that mean? Bras for older women? She
specializes in bras for women over 45, 50 years old. I mean, just because, you know, she said, you know, that when you get older, you tend to just go buy the old lady bras or whatever. And she said, that's, you know, she said, you can change everything.
Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah, no, I love a beautiful bra because it is a game changer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you're wearing on top of that, you automatically feel differently. And then it does inspire you to look at other clothes very differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so my question would be to all the ladies out there, when is the last time you went through your lingerie drawer? While you're going through your closet and looking at the different things there, when is the last time you really looked at your bras and underwear? Because I did that a couple of years ago and it was awful. It was. I ended up having to throw out a lot of stuff because this just looks terrible. You know, especially bras, they get all stretched out and they don't really fit quite right anymore. And it's just a whole thing. So it's a great place to start.
Well, and then you sort of feel down on yourself because you're not treating yourself, and because you're kind of like, you know, what's the inner dialogue when you're, you know, dressed that way? Or foundational pieces are important. And I don't think they ever get talked about enough.
No, I don't.
They're uncomfortable, which is why people don't like them.
Yeah.
But they still.
Well, they're too busy selling women's Spanx and other things, trying to make them appear smaller and uncomfortable, because that stuff is ridiculously uncomfortable. I
I've
mean,
never worn one.
I have tried one on one time and I threw it away because it was that uncomfortable. And it was just so, because I didn't want to wear underwear. And this is back in the pantyhose days. This has been a little while now, but I was trying not to have to wear underwear. So I got these, it was like, it kind of went from the middle of your thighs up to like your belly button kind of thing, but just to keep you from having panty lines. And I felt like I was going to suffocate.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like a girdle. I had a pair
Kind
of
of,
those.
yeah. No,
And yeah,
and you think women used to have to wear those all the time just so they could look like someone else thought they should look, and it didn't matter how miserable they were, or the way
Yeah.
when you go out to eat and you got on something that maybe doesn't fit fabulous because it was the smaller size jeans, and you have to unbutton your pants in order to actually enjoy your meal at dinner.
I used to lay on the bed to fasten my pants.
But why did we do that?
Well,
I did too. I don't know many teenagers that didn't. It's like, but why?
I mean, when I had a certain pair of hip, not they were real low cut hip pockets, I didn't have to, but the other ones, oh no, I mean, it was like, I mean, yeah, they were like painted on jeans, literally.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
And
that's only a woman thing though. Men don't do that. I mean, they might do it now, but they certainly didn't do it then. Men have
think
always
they
been
do,
able to
not the
dress for
same.
comfort and style. Women, it's just like you just have to look good according to someone else. And we really don't care if you're comfortable, or if
Yeah.
you even like what you're putting on. Just show
Yeah.
up so we can approve of you. So that always
and
comes
that's
back to let's dress for you. Can
Yeah.
you dress for you?
Well, and that's where I would say, okay, so you used to lay on your bed, flat on your back so that you could get your pants done up.
Oh
Now,
no, it was worse than flat on your back. You hiked your pelvis up. I mean, it was like,
Oh, yeah.
literally.
yeah. Yeah. So then I would be saying, okay, so if you like those kinds of pants, I think there's also this thing too about us having to be smaller, right? So
Yes.
how could we, get you into something like that, but that is comfortable, right? Well, probably means going up a couple of sizes and admitting that we have to go up a couple of sizes, right? But you're still going to wear something that you are comfortable in or that you enjoy wearing. And it's not even sometimes about being comfortable, it's about enjoying what you wear. And I think with that comes the comfort.
All right.
Dawn's going for her red
I
lips.
It's like if you look at the difference, and we were talking about this before we started recording, it's like the lipstick I had on matches what I had on, but now you see my face more, whether you want to or not. And
I love it.
In here,
I
I
love
know
it.
you can, because you can't not see a woman in red lipstick. You cannot not see her, because even women are trained to notice that. That's why there's women who won't wear red lipstick. And there is a shade of red for everyone. Some people will tell you that every woman can't wear red, which is absolutely not true. There's an unlimited different shades of red, like anything else.
No, the first time I ever did red, this was years ago. I had a friend that was, oh God, it was probably 25 years ago, that was was going in to do it. It wasn't Mary Kay, it was another line of makeup. And she did a makeover on me. And I wish I could remember the color, because she did, and it was completely different. It was like red, and I don't remember the shade, but I looked like a completely different person.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
just, and of course, now it used to be that you could like sample the stuff in the store. Now you don't necessarily want to, but it's like, I think probably one thing that restricts some people is you don't want to go spend $10 for a tube of lipstick that looks like crap. You get it and realize
Yeah. No, and that's a problem too. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, it really just boils down to, what do you love? Is there a celebrity that you could kind of like take some of their styles from and start incorporating them into your own, what you've got, and shopping in your closet?
Yeah.
Literally going and shopping in your closet, treating it like you haven't been in there before. And what could you mix and match, trying to get yourself mentally out of that rut of, well, I always wear this with those pants, or I always wear this sweater with that skirt, or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that that's probably not a great outfit. It probably is, because if you love it, then wear it. But it might then get you into a different headspace of, well, I've got nothing to wear.
Yeah.
Go shopping in your closet and see what you've got, because you might actually find that you've got 3 or 4 outfits that you never really thought of before.
Right.
And it's kind of fun when you can look at it differently. It sort of takes out that the brain jumping in and going, oh, but you can't.
Right.
we let ego get in the way so much that, we start questioning what we're wearing. And I think it was you, Susan, who said yesterday that sometimes you would, you used to just dress once, but then you would change 15 times because you don't think that it looks good or it's not. And, instead of changing 15 times, just go out in the first one and see how you
Well,
feel.
yeah, I think too. Yeah, I know in my case, a lot of times it was letting other people in my head.
Oh,
It's like,
absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what we need to stop. So it's like, if you put on that first outfit, go out in that first outfit. And if you really feel uncomfortable, okay, well then maybe don't do it again.
Okay, let's do something fun. We're going to pick on Susan because she's the only one here. Why don't you, Susan, go to your closet and we will sit here and wait patiently and talk while you're gone and pick out a shirt that you haven't worn but you love, and just switch out your shirt real quick. Something you wouldn't normally wear because of one of those voices in your head, but that you absolutely love the shirt. Do you have one of those? Or it could be anything. It could be a hat. It could be a shawl. It could literally be anything.
I don't know. Let me go look.
Okay. Nothing like being
Because that's
on the
my
spot.
shirt that I've got on today. That is my shirt that I have on today. And I don't know. I might have to go out after this, so maybe I'll keep wearing it. I haven't decided
Yeah.
yet.
No, I love that. That's an awesome shirt.
That's a Sheen thing.
Can I turn around so I can see the backs? Ooh, I like you. That is nice.
Yeah. So it's different. It's
It's awesome.
yeah. This was my fire coming out, right? I was talking yesterday about elements and how one coach does it by the elements. And this was me going, I think I need to bring my fire out a little bit more than my water. So I went and I got this. And then of course, never worked.
Yeah, it would be interesting. What, maybe that's something we should do. And maybe you should do this in your group, is do a poll. And I don't know what the question would be exactly, but are you wearing the things that you love? Because I wonder, I think this affects more women than what we talk about, and sometimes in our circles, we hear it a little bit more, but the women at large, I think there's more women dressing for other people or men than they are dressing in a way that makes them feel good.
Well, definitely. Well, also because I think a lot of them do look to celebrities, but then also try to replicate it exactly. And maybe, kind of like going into a hair salon with a picture and saying, this is what I want. But they either have a stylist with them all the time that can make it look like that, or it's not meant for your texture of hair or whatever, right? So it's always it's okay to go into a salon and say, this is what I want, but do you have the right type of hair to actually do that? And it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, are you wearing a style just because you really like the celebrity, but something about it isn't lighting you up?
Right. Well, yeah, like I always said, if Gene Simmons of Kiss and Dolly Parton had a love child, it would be me. That's really because I love the way it is. I can't wear, like, I do like some of the sparkly stuff, but obviously Dolly wears very sparkly things. And obviously I'm not going to wear all that, but I love that she's so comfortable in her skin. And that's what attracts me to her. She is 100% comfortable with her bleach blonde wigs and her tight fit. She doesn't apologize to anybody. No. And that's what I love about her. Is like, he just shows up like, I'm wearing what I want, when I want, how I want, because it's for me.
And that's what I would like other women to get to, is a place where they, well, as we said yesterday, have no fucks given for what they're wearing. Like they don't ever feel that need to apologize because they're wearing something. They're just wearing it because they love it. Rules be damned. And it's just like, we're taking up that space that we haven't been taking up before.
Taking up physical, energetic, every kind of space, because that's another thing women do, is like, say we may have bought something we actually love and we feel really good in that thing, and you go out to wherever and someone compliments you on it. And a lot of the time our go-to, I only paid such and such, like we have to diminish the value of the thing that we bought, so that we won't feel like we did the wrong thing. Like we couldn't, like I'm not going to tell you I spent $50 on a shirt.
I love it.
Oh, yes.
I love it. Now, what is it about this that you love? And why don't you wear it more often?
I like it, because it's comfortable. I mean, unless it's freezing cold outside. I mean, of course I have
Which happens rarely in the South, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can always throw a jacket on with it, but I mean, it's soft. I like the material. I like the fact that like I said,
I like the
it's
neck.
comfortable, but yet it's still dressy.
Yeah, I like the neck.
Yeah, it's got just a little bit. It's kind of like
An embellishment. Oh, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. So now, would you wear that out to a store to go shopping? Just the grocery store, even grocery store, Target, Walmart, wherever you typically shop at.
I don't know. I guess I've never really thought about it.
Would you wear it out? So now, what you
Yeah.
know that you don't. Would you consider wearing it out? It's like, how does it make you feel when you think about walking out the door wearing what you're wearing right now?
I like it. Like I said, once again, I mean, that the biggest, and it's truly it's truly a mindset thing. It's the fact that I don't know,
Right. Yes, your tattoo. Yes, yes.
even
Yeah.
though I work with, like I said, you see people all the time, but it's like for some reason or another, maybe because I got so much flack, over the years for getting it. It's like, I've got other people in my head because I like my tattoo.
Well, Trula, let's talk about that for a second. You said you got so much flack. How many people in your inner circle commented on the tattoo? Or was it just a couple of people who had a huge impact on you? Because sometimes we think we hear something, we think it's everybody saying it to us when it's one or two.
Well, no, it wasn't everybody. It was just a few. And so my response was to hide it from everybody else.
Yeah. That's the same.
Right.
That's the voice. It's like we think it's a
When
whole
I got it done,
gallery of people,
the friends
and
I'm
it's
with
not.
that loved it. They got theirs at the same time, and it was like they were I had no problem with them flaunting it because I was really proud of it.
Yeah.
And I bet you if you were to wear that out now, you would probably get a, whoa, that's really cool. I had no idea you had one. And it would probably be a little bit more of a positive
Yes.
interaction,
Yes.
potentially.
And plus, things
but yeah,
like, yeah, you probably got that, however many years ago. The world is a very different place now. You don't have to be worried about it like you did 20 or 30 years ago when a woman walked out with a tattoo. Because now everybody's like, it's just like not that. It's just it's not even a thing.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be something that I would want you, if you were my client, to start considering is how could you get comfortable in your own skin to be able to own that you got this tattoo and you love it. So not every day, not all the time, but there are going to be times where you want to showcase it. You love that top, but you haven't been wearing it because it shows off the tattoo. So where could you, even if you had a sweater on to go out, but then you were like, I'm going to take the sweater off and just see.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing that I would say is, where could you start owning that you got this tattoo and you love it?
Yeah.
So now you want to start showing it off.
Even if you just walk down the street, if you don't want to go to a store, you can start anywhere. Yeah. Walk down the end of your street and back, or wherever it happens to be that you're at. That's just, it's baby steps. Nothing wrong with baby steps.
Totally, 1%.
Your brain doesn't shut you down. If you take those smaller steps, your protection mechanism in your brain doesn't try and shut you down from doing it because it doesn't feel an alarm. And then by the time you're really ready to go full force, it doesn't panic anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I love tattoos. I always want people to tell me the stories behind them.
Yeah.
What made you get that? Why'd you get
most all of them do have a story. It's an artistic expression of your personality. Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. Now, tell me, how do you feel being on camera? Like thinking 10, 15, 20 people might see you on camera wearing that. How does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm halfway okay with that. I mean, I do it now because, I have some sleeveless, like casual sportswear, like, gym kind of stuff that when I'm out in my back, my neighbors obviously see me. It's just, it's more about going out into public where, you
might know someone other than your neighbors.
Professional places or whatever that,
Yeah.
I think that neckline lends itself really well to a nice little necklace that,
I do.
Yeah.
Now, would you wear that shirt to work?
I don't know.
What would hold you back? Now, just think about it. It's like, what reaction would you be afraid of?
Yeah. What is your brain telling you why you can't wear it to work?
Because
It's not a very valid one, but it's like, it's a perception thing, even though, like I said, I know other people at work that have tattoos and very visibly show theirs.
Right.
And maybe it's that voice somewhere in the back about that good girls don't. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what that it
That was
not
kind of
my
like an
voice,
early
but the voice
80s
of somebody
thing,
else,
right? Like
Yeah.
the good girls don't get the tattoos. They're unmarred. It's the biker chicks. It's the,
Yeah, because I mean, in
prostitutes.
some
Like,
ways, that was the generation I grew up in. Was it only certain women got that stuff?
yeah.
And even though things have changed, it's hard to get rid of that idea that, yeah, I mean, I'm
Well, no, I
I
think
certainly
it's awesome. I think it looks great. And do
Yeah.
you feel different wearing that right now than you did the blue shirt you had on before? Does it make you feel different even where you're sitting?
well, yeah.
And another thing, it also makes you like when we
Other than I
dress
got a
for
pharmacy
ourselves, it's like we actually become aware of our body, and most
Yeah.
we work to forget our bodies. And it's like we forget that we get to be aware of the fact that we have one.
Yeah. And that would be a challenge that I would kind of, and I think Dawn and I have talked, we're probably going to host a little challenge in her group and maybe in mine as well. To sort of push, right? Just a little bit. So like this week, I would say to you, consider wearing that shirt or something like it to work. Just, and maybe you get to work and you are super, like, take a jacket with you,
Right.
like don't completely just go like that, but start stretching that envelope just a little bit to see, because it's kind of hard to figure out what your style is going to be or what you want it to be without sort of stretching yourself with what you've already got, because as Dawn just said with the brain, it's going to default you to the stuff that's safe, right? It's going to default you to the, oh my God, you can't do that. What if somebody says something? We have to take those baby steps, and you've already got that in your closet.
Right.
So is it something that one day in the next week or two, you could throw a sweater on over, but if you get warm, you can take it off and just see how it feels and see what the reaction is. And I bet you the reactions probably would surprise you. And if they don't, then, what do I know? And you can go back to
you always have the choice to default back to whatever you want to put on.
Yeah.
It's almost like cooking. When you start cooking new recipes, you take the basic recipe and then you make it your own. You add this, you take away that, all the different things that you can do. It's just like dressing and fashion is also a recipe. It's a recipe, to reflect who you are, the taste and the flavor and the spice and all the things.
Yeah. This is your spice. This is your flavor. This is you changing things up a little bit and seeing what you think, because you've got colleagues that do, and you think it's great. What if you were one of them?
Yeah.
How would that make you
everybody
feel?
else is running around scared to show their tattoos too, because they think no one else has one. Everybody's so busy trying to hide who they are. And then we wonder why we can't have intimate relationships with people.
Yeah.
Because we've always got the wall up. Because if they found out who I was, then they wouldn't like me anymore, or they wouldn't want to be my friend. And we're all the same. That's the thing. It's like,
and that's the work that we have to do, right?
That's like, I mean, with other things, as far as, like, society issues with more, other things, is that I'm no different than the kid that was teaching your kid yesterday. I mean, it was that, I've had this tattoos, like I said, since I was 24 years old. I mean, I got it when it was not the norm,
Right.
So, I'm still the same person, whether it is or whether you don't know it is there. So,
yeah. So let's recap a little bit. So especially for people who might have come in late, it's like if a woman is starting on her journey, before she reaches out to contact you, Tracy, to help her with design her personal style, what would you say the first thing she needs to do? Is like, she's decided, okay, I'm ready to take a baby step to do something. What would be the first thing you would tell her to do?
Shop in your closet. Really kind of try, and it's hard, I know, but really try and come at it from a perspective of you don't know what's in there. Because how many of us have bought stuff that still have tags on them? How many of us have bought stuff that, like you said, you bought these shirts that you thought were gorgeous, but you won't wear them because the fabric is funky. So what do we have in our closet where we can start mixing and matching with old stuff? Like, try as best you can to stop going to your default.
Right.
Remove some of the default. Like, you removed 2 of those shirts today, right? What could we take away to start that brain shift into wanting to find something really, really, like unique and our own? Because you'll probably find you've got a half dozen outfits that you hadn't really contemplated before.
Yes.
And how do those make you feel? Like, it really does come back to who's in your head saying, oh my God, you can't,
Right.
or why would you wear that? And how we feel. Because if we feel really good, I think those voices are going to start falling away.
Right.
Because it becomes I like it.
Right.
Shut up.
They could do. If they have things in their closet that they're holding on to, say they haven't worn them in 10 years. It's like, how do they give themselves permission to let go of that thing? Because there's usually
That's a tough
emotional
one
attachment.
because,
It's like,
yeah, I mean,
you've defined that shirt, that skirt, whatever it is, you've given it some meaning, which is why you can't let go of it.
I think what you would need to do, and it's going to be hard, and you might need some time with it, right? Because I mean, it's really kind of a grieving process to a degree.
It is,
right? Yeah. And I think you need to give yourself permission in a way to kind of say, thank you.
Yes.
You served whatever purpose you had at that time, and maybe, or give some appreciation to the person that you were when you had that outfit, like when you could wear it.
Right.
Then say, thank you. I need to move on.
Yeah. And sometimes
I need to accept who I am now.
Right. And you can even just take it out and put it in a different closet for right now.
Yep.
You don't have to, it's like almost like I say things in your house. It's like, you don't have to throw them away.
No, you can put them in a box and put them under the bed.
Yeah. And it's let it be a process until you're ready to let go, one step at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And you will probably find that as you start paring that stuff down, your style might start emerging from that, right? Because you're going to start becoming aware of what's in your closet and what you like and what lights you up and what's a fuck yes or a hell no or a whatever. And then from there, we can start kind of building on that. We can start capitalizing on, okay, well, have you gone window shopping? Do you even know what's out there right now that you might like? Or are you always just defaulting to that athleisure wear or whatever it is? But yeah, I would say
window shopping online. What's a good place for them to start? It's like if they don't ever shop for clothes, like I say, they're not a shopper.
Shein is good because they have a multitude of sizes, right? So like they've got your standard sizes, but then they actually also have a plus section.
Okay.
So they're really good. I do find some of their stuff is a little silly, but it kind of starts to give you an idea of what's out there, of what styles there are and what you may or may not like. But if you're not even ready for the online shopping piece, I would go to Pinterest.
That's a great, I know we talked about
I would just go there and start looking at fashion style, because Pinterest is basically a visual database of stuff, right? So you can go and you can start looking for fashion. You can start looking at celebrities. You can start looking at all of that stuff. Some of it's going to be old and you may not be able to find it now, but it's going to start giving you an idea about
and you can,
that you might like.
You can make multiple pin boards. Like you can have my casual board or my elegant or my spicy board. Like you don't have to keep them all and you can make different ones in there.
I've got a lingerie board. I've got a fashion board. I've got a my style board. I've got a kids board. I've got all sorts of things on there. And when I go and I find things that I like, then I just pin them. And like I say, some of that stuff is from 2021 or 2018. So you're not going to be able to find that out there. But I think it starts giving you an idea of, you're going to start seeing a pattern.
Yes.
Of the things that you gravitate to, so that then when you do go online or when you do go into a store, if you've got your phone with you, you can start saying, oh yeah, I really kind of like that style. What do I see that's similar?
Right.
And that's where you can really start defining, because I think if you were to go and look through mine, there might not be a pattern. There might be some, but not really, because I am meant to experiment.
Right.
You will probably gravitate to stuff if you feel more uniformish, right? You're going to start seeing similar cuts. You're going to start seeing similar shirts. You're going to start seeing similar colors or patterns. And then that's where you can start building
Right.
your wardrobe and then start playing with your style.
Right. So Susan, question is like, what do you feel like your biggest challenge is in being having a personal style that really reflects who you are today? It's like, if you had to name one or two things that you really think, it's like, what prevents you from doing that? Is just lack of experience doing it, like you just haven't been doing it your whole life? Or
Yeah, and of course, well, and as you know, I mean, there's probably, I mean, the biggest thing is probably experience. I mean, it's something in the back of my mind. It's probably a little bit of the money thing too, because I did a major shift in the last couple of years where, and before when I worked, I mean, obviously, I mean, because I worked for Allstate, my work attire was, I didn't have to buy a lot of, I had moved out of an office job in, where I was director of a community home and then working out to places where I had a set uniform to wear, so I just didn't invest that much. And then of course, when I switched jobs, it kind of,
Well, and
put
I
me
think
in
that's the thing too, is excuse me, is
where
that not knowing,
clothes I do have in my closet were like, 6, 7, 8 years old, because I just didn't go shopping.
yeah,
well, and not knowing where to start too. I mean, I think the biggest hurdle I've come up against is when people sort of have a style that they like, and or a style that they want to start working with, but then to find out that they're actually not, and maybe it's all very similar stuff, but then to find out that they're actually a right arrow and they should be experimenting more. And there's a bit of a, but I don't know about that.
right.
Experimenting, but I like this. But again,
and this is something I'm working on, but I mean, I've always had a hard time spending money on myself anyway. Although, I
yes,
mean, in my mind, yes, I have I mean, I like classy, sophisticated stuff, but I have a hard time spending. But yet, give me, an event where you have to dress up like Halloween or whatever. I'm all in. I mean, everybody laughs about that if they
because
find
there's a reason.
whatever, like,
That would be
hey,
my question. What's the difference in your mind? Like, how do you justify
I
one
don't
and
know,
not the other?
because yeah, I'll dress up for Halloween in a minute.
But do you think it's because that feels like more like a costume and no one's going to judge you for it because you're supposed to look
Maybe because
silly?
that's the acceptable time to be,
Yeah.
out of the box. Maybe that's what
There's
it
a
is.
reason to go and spend money on yourself,
Right.
because it's an event, it's Halloween, it's Christmas, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And that's always, I think, and again, why a lot of my work is around the mindset, because there are these stories that we have either told ourselves, been told, taken on, whatever, about not spending money on ourselves,
Right.
or that's wasteful, or I'm a woman of a certain age, so I shouldn't wear that,
Anymore,
and
yeah.
that's, and so it's not just about how to style yourself. It's also the whys and the how comes and the getting
Right.
past that hurdle of, it's okay to spend money on yourself. It's okay to treat yourself, because having a child that's so young, it's also, what is he going to see me do that he's then going to expect from his significant other?
Exactly. That's a huge.
And if you have a daughter,
yeah.
flip that story.
Kids
What
are
is she
always
doing for
watching,
herself? That,
like what they say, kids watch what you do. They really don't care nearly as much what you say. They're seeing how you're living and moving through your own life.
Yeah.
Because that's why so many older people get called hypocrites all the time, because we say one thing, but we do something completely different. Yeah.
but I totally sympathize with the not spending money on yourself. Like, that is something that I never had an issue with until I had a kid. Now having him, I find he is the default that I will go and spend the money on.
And I think
I
you
might-
mentioned that you went to, what was it? You went to the store and you couldn't find anything for yourself, or you just, whatever reason, your brain wouldn't let you, but you easily went and found something for him.
Yep. Totally. I could go to a store with the idea of, I need X or Y for me, whether it's lingerie or my jeans are falling apart or whatever. I may not find anything that I like, or my brain has told me, no, he needs something more than you do.
Yeah.
And that is probably going to be one of the biggest hurdles that as women
Yeah.
Oxygen mask first.
First, always.
You can't be naked.
Right.
So
And
we
it's a
need to spend some money on
self-perpetuating thing.
ourselves.
That's why so many women for generations has had that, because if we can't shift that now for our boys, they're going to expect their significant others to also put themselves last, because that's what we've been conditioned to do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why women are considered frivolous spenders. And that's actually, we're actually terrified of being told we waste money. You know, it's like,
well, and it's, and vain is one of the words I
Yeah.
want to reclaim, because I mean, everybody thinks of Carly Simon's "You're So Vain" song, right? And is that a bad thing?
no, that's what I say. Let's do some vanity. You know, maybe that's what we'll name your challenge. Maybe we'll call it the vanity challenge. It's like, get out there, be vain. It's AF. I mean, seriously, you know, how vain can you be this week and not apologize for it?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is apologizing for spending the money on yourself, right? Like, you know, if you see a pair of shoes you want, then get them.
Yeah.
As long as it's not going to put you in the poorhouse, right? Like, I mean, as long as it's not going to affect
right. Yeah.
anything else, but you know, and maybe that's where the thrifting comes in. Maybe start thrifting to get comfortable with the idea of spending that money on yourself, because it's not as much. So there's nothing to necessarily feel guilty for.
Right. And even set aside, like in your mind, have a budgeted amount. If you know you've got limited funds, like I have $20 or $25 to spend, whatever I can find with it. Just before you even leave the house, you've given yourself permission that money is spoken for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you don't have to think, if you found a blouse for $15 at the thrift store, you don't have to think about, can I afford it? Because you've already decided, I have money for that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's just, again, it's that baby step, right?
Yeah.
Of being okay with spending money on yourself.
Right. Now, Tracy has a group, and that we're fixing to start sending out invitations. So everyone who's on the registration list for this, you will definitely be getting one, and it will be all over Facebook. I think you're going to start promoting your group, right? Did we decide?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure we decided that.
No, I'm going to start promoting the group. I think
we're
going to start running some challenges, and I think the vanity challenge is a good one to kind of start.
It's like
with.
We're going to do it this week, so we want to capitalize on the momentum of this fabulous conversation we've been having, and get women into gear of reclaiming their vanity without apology, and see what comes of it.
Well, and because we're starting to hit that holiday season for everybody, right? So, you know, if we can take one thing off the plate of all the to-dos for the holiday season, then let's
absolutely do that. And also tell everybody where they can get in touch with you, where they can find you, and where they can get
I am on Facebook, and we will be promoting the group Dress by Design. And obviously Tracy Lynne Keeping, I think it is. I changed it.
Yeah.
And I'm on TikTok at the Tracy Keeping. I'm not as active on there yet, but I'm going to start.
Yes.
And then Instagram is tracy.keeping. And I do go on there quite a bit. I'm on Facebook more though. But I primarily promote everything on Facebook.
Right. And if you could give women one that kind of sums up the work you do, is like, what do you want women to walk away from thinking is possible to let go of? It's like, if you had if you were going to, this is the last thing you're going to say to a woman before she walks away today. It's like, what do you want her to remember about what we're talking about and what you do, why it matters?
Why it matters? Because she's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And she needs to see herself as that she is, that we are perfect the way that we are. We just need to start owning it and taking up that space. And for me, that's through style and building that confidence up that we are worthy.
Absolutely. And like so, Tracy's going to start a challenge, which is going to be so much fun, and we're all going to participate, ladies. And for those who participate fully in the challenge, those people can be entered to win.
I think we're going to put them in a draw to win some time with me.
Yeah, because that's really sometimes you do need someone to hold your hand. It's a game changer, because yes, you can do everything on your own, and we all probably have at one time in our life, but you can make so much more progress so much quicker if you've got someone standing there with you doing it.
If you've got a cheerleader.
You do. Somebody that's dedicated in your corner. They've got your best interests at heart. They know exactly what you're trying to do. And they also help hold you very gently accountable, because we talk ourselves out of stuff all day long. But if you know you're going to meet with someone on Thursday and she's going to ask you, Susan, did you wear that white blouse to work? And you know you're going to have to be honest. Sometimes it helps you. It gently pushes you out of your comfort zone, out of that rut where you can actually start expressing who you are. So we want everybody to get in the group and to join the challenge. And we're going to be promoting it all over the place, because we are headed into holiday season and women are trying to figure out what they're going to wear at the parties. And are they too big for that? Or are they too old for that? And we're here to put the kibosh on all of that nonsense, because we
never too old.
Yes,
never too
we
big.
don't want to see any more of these ads that says, dress sexy, even if you're plus size. We don't want to see that anymore. And so we have to counterbalance that kind of nonsense that's being put out into the world, because it just perpetuates this myth that women aren't beautiful and sexy and vibrant and fabulous at any age.
And any size.
In any size. It just, none of those are factors. And so that's what we're here for. And that's what Tracy specializes in. If you have an interest in working with someone for your personal design, this is your woman. Because I was trying to think, I actually don't know anyone else that's doing the work you're doing it like you're doing it.
No.
Which means we have to work really hard to get that out there, because there's so much noise on the internet. And that's something else you're going to see a lot of us from both of our things. It's like, we're fixing to dominate the internet. People just,
we want to be rich boos.
We're going to all be rich boos. That's the whole thing. Rich boos are us. So everybody get ready. Any last thoughts you want to leave people with as they get on with their weekend and watch this on?
Or any last questions from our participant here?
Susan, you have any questions? Like if you had 2 questions that you could ask, what would they be? It's like, what do you want to know about fashion, personal style, or any of the like?
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but
yeah, no pressure.
You are welcome to come back to it too. With the group is not going anywhere. The replays are there.
I don't do well with all the fun, come up with something quickly. Always.
That's okay.
Unless I'm responding to my teenagers in
Well, that's
class.
okay. That's something else we'll tell everybody, because I know some people are watching this on the replay, and then we're probably going to also send the link to this out to different people also. So if you have questions, you can drop them in the comments under the replay. You can send Tracy a DM or an email, whatever platform you're on. So don't let the fact that this has ended for right now stop you from asking the questions, because we can oftentimes think we need to know what women are struggling with, but if everybody is we're the same, but we also have our nuances that makes us a little bit different. So ask the questions. There are no silly questions. There are no, I can't ask that because I'm too embarrassed to ask. Just put it out there.
And I'm like Susan either too. I can't be put on the spot. I need time to process it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. and again, we're going to start promoting Tracy's group. So, and that's a private group. So you don't even have to be worried about the whole internet seeing what you're asking.
No.
And most times I think it's all groups on Facebook now. It's like you can post anonymously. You don't even have to use your name anymore. So if you've got a question that you're really embarrassed to ask, whatever it is, you can just do it anonymously, because it's just really important to get the support that you need, because time does go by quickly, and we don't want another woman to waste another year of her life not living it the way she wants to on her own terms. And so whatever we have to do to get those messages out, that's what we're going to do, because we are here for it. Excellent.
Definitely.
Okay.
Well, thank you. This has been so much fun. Thank you for participating both days, Susan.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. All righty. Well, people, be looking in your email and on all the social media platforms, because like I said, we're going to start sending out invitations to Tracy's group, and we're going to immediately this week get into the vanity challenge, or whatever name it will end up with by the time.
I kind of like that, but yes, I'm going to sit with it today and tomorrow, and I will start talking about it.
Awesome. All right, ladies. Well, it has been fabulous. I can't wait for the challenge. I'm actually very excited about this myself. And we will see you guys on the internet.
We will. All right. Have a good afternoon, guys.
Bye.